Welcome back to 2-minute trumpet tricks. And today is going to be more like a confessional than it is a trick. I, every once in a while, decide to arrange something that is really challenging for me, both playing-wise and compositionally. This is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to show you how I'm able to practice a piece that right now I can't play. I like challenges, and maybe that's why I do this to myself. But basically, I'm going to show you how I get through something that is, for me, 80 years old, is a confession that I'm having problems getting this one down. I will get it down because I'm just as stubborn as anybody else, but basically, I have to practice. Most of the compositions I write and arrangements I write are for students at the high school level, down to junior high, and then some professionals who might want to have an easy piece for their recitals. But this one I did basically just to be tough on myself. So as I go through this, I'll show you what I did, why I did it, and how I'm going to be able to record it eventually, I hope. What you're seeing from this shot is basically the down and dirty side of my studio. I'm not cleaning it up right now. I'm right in the middle of practicing and putting this piece together. I might let you know that this is originally written for a flute. It's called Concerto for Flute in G by Mozart. It's the usual multi-movement piece, and I'm just zeroing in on the first movement, which is Allegro Maestoso. It's originally written for keyboard, I believe, or string ensemble behind the flautist, and I saw the possibility that would make a nice trumpet quintet featuring two trumpets in an antiphonal setting that would be challenging for most trumpet players. It will be challenging. Of course, tempo is the determinant whether it's difficult or not, but I'm trying to get it up to the full speed that it's been recorded on YouTube. So basically, this is the part from the second trumpet behind me. It's not difficult stamina-wise because I've given both the first and second part some resting areas and so forth, and as also true, the accompanying three trumpet parts below the solo parts have plenty of resting. The problem is it's at a tempo that's very difficult, key that is challenging, some skips that are more flute-like than they are trumpet-like, and I literally will have to practice these two solo parts, the first and second part, in order to record it. I've already got the third, fourth, and fifth trumpet parts recorded. They're no problem. But the first two solo parts are really hard, and I'll have to practice. 90% of my arrangements you hear online are first takes. Maybe even 95% are first takes because they're easier material. This one I'm going to have to practice. So the trick that I'm talking about today is basically how to work up a piece that is challenging for you, in some cases impossible at this current time, and work it up. So that's basically what the trick is today, and I'll show you how we do it. Your first question might be, why do I have so many music stands and the music stretched out so far? Basically, there's no time for me to turn pages when I'm doing the solo parts. They're pretty constant. So that's the reason I have so many parts, so many pages, so many music stands on here. The first example you're going to see is the original score that I did for this piece at the finished tempo. As you can see from the second line on the score, this is the second trumpet part running right now. The first part, when he comes in, is equally difficult, and there's a lot of notes to cover in a short amount of time. This is the finished tempo that I'm shooting for. This again was recorded with MIDI sounds, which I'll get to a little later in the video. The advantage of actual trumpet sounds over this tinny MIDI sound. This example is a slower practice tempo, still using the MIDI sounds and the original score. This is about as slow as you would want to start practicing on. This is probably about half tempo, but you can go anywhere from this speed on up to where you're comfortable playing it perfectly without missing notes. Here's an example now of the recording at the slow practice tempo with actual trumpets on the parts below. This is the first rough recording I did on the parts. There's a lot of work to be done on cleaning it up a lot, but you get the idea of the difference between the MIDI sounds and more trumpet sounds. Another advantage of using live like this is you have a much better concept of volumes when you're playing. You can hear the second part in the background. Now, some of you might wonder why I've gone to all this trouble recording it, transferring from a MIDI file over to a recording MP3 level rehearsal tape. And basically, you can rehearse with a metronome. But unfortunately, many times when students rehearse with a metronome, they sound like they rehearsed with a metronome. And if you don't have the real sound behind you when you're playing a solo part, you're losing a lot of the energy, a lot of the finesse that's necessary for playing a solo well. You can mechanically do the same thing, but who wants to sound mechanical? These are written by Mozart, and they're beautiful compositions. The lines are gorgeous counterpoint, and to do it with just a metronome doesn't do it justice. So I'm suggesting that go through the extra steps, putting down an MP3 or a MP3 recording that you can just pop up anytime at any tempo and rehearse it. It's really the best way to get it to sound professional. That's your trick for this time. Hope you come back again. Thank you.